John Wright on 11. Botham getting a bit of in-swing. A fine piece of fielding up his own bowling by Ian Botham. Shy at the stumps, forcing John Wright to dive for the crease to make sure that he was in his ground. But look at this. It's a firmly struck shot by John Wright. Botham on his follow-through, lurching to his left, changing hands, shying at the stumps. If that had hit, that could have been very interesting.
Well, that's a smashing shot, and I hope that that's an indication now that I've come back into the seat of what's going to happen in the next half hour before lunch. That was a top shot there from John Wright.
First boundary, Glenn.
Yes. So 34 without loss. See Wright there on 17, and he's facing Botham. Bouncer, and that's the first one that I've seen, certainly since I've been commentating. And I must admit that I've been a little surprised, at least that Willis hasn't attempted it.
Yes, certainly, and that is the first one of the morning. Willis bowled for a long spell. We didn't see one dropped short at all.
Well, the type of performer that Botham is, as I said earlier, I'm surprised he hadn't done it sooner. He's gone for the pull. He could be out. He is. He's caught by Nick Cook at mid-on. So the first New Zealand wicket is down with the total at 34. That of John Wright for 17. Botham's third short delivery in a row. See how he digs it in again short here. And Wright decides to commit himself, but the line was wrong. It was down the offside, and he wasn't able to get over the top of it or hit it square enough, and it went straight to Nick Cook at mid-on. It is short, and Wright not able to hit as square as he would have liked, and certainly if he's going to pull it through mid-wicket, as he attempted in the end there, not able to get over the top of it. You have two choices. You either get right over the top of it or decide to hit the ball indeed over the top of the fieldsman, and he's caught in between there, almost two minds, and it just goes straight into the hands of Nick Cook. So just about 17 minutes or so to go for lunch. Not a good time for Houth to come in. Goes for the sweep. He gets it fine enough. That should be four. With the orthodox fielder much squarer, Lamb, he can't get around for it. That's a bad ball, but capitalised by Houth. The line just drifting down the leg side.
Yes, Jeff Houth caught up with this one nicely, as Glenn said. Nick Cook just drifting down the leg side. He followed it round, caught up with it, hit it fine, so the man at square leg had no chance. Another angle of that one. Jeff Houth getting over the top, but just coming fine, which was the thing to do because the square leg racing around there had no chance of cutting it off.
105 minutes and just 9 runs. A real grafter from Brucey today. He's gone for the hook, and I think he'll be out, caught behind. He is. And just having said that, with Edgar having defended, New Zealand's second wicket goes down with the total at 39, that of Bruce Edgar for 9. He played a hook at it. It was fairly wide down the leg side, and he may have got a glove or just a little top edge. A unanimous shout from the England players, and Edgar, although he stayed, he was quite happy in the end to go, showed no frustration really, and therefore New Zealand's second wicket down. If we watch this again. And this could be out. No, it just goes wide of Smith at square leg. Houth not getting hold of it at all. He'll get 2 runs for the shot, but rather streaky from Houth.
Yes, Glenn, he seemed to try and sort of spoon it round, didn't he, rather with no authority, and it hit high on the bat.
So 30 overs bowled in the first 2 hours play in this first Rothmans test, with Bruce Edgar and John Wright, the New Zealand batsmen, out. The 2 openers both falling to the bowling of Ian Botham. Edgar out for 9, Wright for 17, Howarth and Martin Crowe, the not-out batsman, at lunch, and the score 42 for 2 after the first session.
And Martin Crowe facing up to his first ball on the back foot and pushing it through the offside where there's no fielder. Alan Lamb's chasing it. It's 2, almost getting it, rolls over the boundary for 4. A good start for Martin Crowe. He moves to 5, and the total to 47. Neil Foster moving to bowl to Houth. That's a good shot from Howard. Square cuts a short ball. It possibly won't reach the boundary. Derek Randall chasing it, and a comfortable 3 to Jeff Houth, moves his score to 11, and that's the New Zealand 50. And Houth swings into that ball outside the off stump. Doesn't quite get hold of it, but a fairly comfortable 2 as he puts it wide of Lamb. Moves the score on to 54, and he moves on to 15. Botham to Jeff Houth again. And that's caught at the gully. Houth repeating the shot that he played and missed prior to that. He got hold of this one and hit a catch into the gully area, and very comfortably taken at tummy high. That's a sad blow for New Zealand.
Change of action. Oh, delightful shot. That's the shot of the match so far. Over-pitched outside the off stump from Ian Botham, and Martin Crowe just launching into a classic cover drive. He gets 4. The score is 71, and Crowe's 13.
That was a great shot. It was a sort of sling-type delivery from Ian Botham. When he changed his action, he over-pitched it and it was wide. Martin Crowe took up the challenge and just hammered it away through the covers. Great shot.
New Zealand now looking for a solid contribution from their middle order. These two, Jeremy Coney and Richard Hadlee, to follow. Not too soon, New Zealand fans hope. Willis to Martin Crowe. Ooh, let it go, and it seemed back right over the top of the middle stump.
Well, goodness gracious, Martin's got away with it on 2 or 3 occasions today, and again, that line, if we have a look at it, well, it was always coming into him because Bob Willis bowls from wide on the crease. He let it go, and as Peter Williams said, right over the top of the stumps.
Oh, and this one has gone through the defences of Martin Crowe and bowled him. I think he possibly played that on. Little bat, the ball then dribbling down and disturbing the off bail, and Martin Crowe is bowled for 13, and New Zealand further into trouble at 71 for 4.
Here it is, angling into him. Seemed to cramp him up, and he tried to clamp down him, but he was too late on it. Just nipped the bail off. That's a blow for New Zealand, and that brings Jeremy Coney to the crease.
Goes for the pull. Almost stepped on his stumps, but it's gone through mid-wicket for 4. Good-looking shot from Jeff Crowe, but if we see on the replay, he very nearly fell back onto his stumps. And so he goes on to 13, and the New Zealand total now up to 78 for 4.
Have another look at that. Swiveling on the back foot, and then almost going on to the stumps.
Well, up, works this through mid-on, even though it was off stumpish, hit it very firmly. They'll get at least 3, possibly 4 with Smith in pursuit, but it goes through for 4. Good shot from Coney, only leant into it. Didn't appear to strike the ball very hard, so his timing was excellent. Short, and he'll get 4 runs for this off the back foot. A good shot through the covers by Jeremy Coney. And really no need to run for that, and so the New Zealand 100 comes up. 102 now, New Zealand, with a loss of 4 wickets.
And Gower has caught Coney in it forward at the short mid-off position, and Coney is out. The score is 114. Coney had looked to be handling Cook quite comfortably.
That's right. If we watch this one, it just came in, drifted in a little, and he looks like he got a little inside edge onto his pad. It just ballooned out to David Gower, who's in there at silly point, and umpire Steve Woodward had no hesitation in giving Jeremy Coney out.
Jeff Crowe punching it backward at point. Lovely shot for 4 runs, takes him to 34, and the New Zealand total to 123.
Powerful shot from Jeff Crowe, 4 runs away on the leg side. Again, Cook guilty of over-tossing, and Crowe moves to 38. That's his highest test score. New Zealand 127 for 5. Nick Cook will continue bowling from the southern end to Crowe. Oh, that's a lovely shot. Delightful cricket shot from Jeff Crowe. Way to the mid-off boundary for 4. Jeff Crowe is 42 and New Zealand 139.
That was a lovely shot indeed. Typical Jeff Crowe cover drive or off drive. Have a look at the bat. Very loose when he hits the ball and just pushes it. Beautiful timing. There it goes.
Hadlee trying to swap that away. He's had some success. I think it might have come off the glove or perhaps off the splice, and he's got himself 4 runs. So Richard Hadlee moves to 11. At the end of the over, it's 147 for 5. Beautiful shot from Jeff Crowe, and there's his 50. Given plenty of width by Nick Cook. Onto the front foot, crashing the ball to the cover boundary. Jeff Crowe is 50. New Zealand 151 for 5.
See the front foot going forward, bad. Just outside the off stump, drove it square on the offside. 4 runs.
A minor recovery at least taking place here. Just say that, and it looks as though he's out, caught behind. Jeff Crowe going for a drive outside the off stump, and Foster pitching this one up, getting it to swing away from Crowe. And so now the 6th New Zealand wicket goes down with the score at 160. That of Jeff Crowe for 52.
Yes, that one moved away, Glenn. It was fairly full in length, but it was a wee bit outside the off stump. We have another look at it. It's just swinging in the air and leaving him off the track, and Jeff Crowe tempted into the drive. He got the little outside edge through to Bob Taylor, who made no mistake. So New Zealand's 6th wicket falls at 160 runs.
The ball obviously up for the drive, but just swinging away a little bit from Crowe. He didn't quite get across to it, and as a result, just a fine outside edge through to Bob Taylor.
We'll see what Botham can do now. It's outside the off stump, and he's caught brilliantly at second slip. Richard Hadlee caught at second slip for 24. New Zealand lose their 7th wicket at 174.
And that's top-class bowling. Hadlee, 24 runs, received 65 balls, 5 fours, and was at the crease for 96 minutes.
And significantly here, Billy, it's a lot of very short pitch balls have been bowled at Hadlee, but that was a little bit further up. And perhaps a few deliveries have been wasted bowling too short at Hadlee. And a brilliant catch there by Gatting at second slip. And Botham secures his 4th wicket. Botham moving in to bowl to Smith. Short outside the off stump. Smith gets it away between gully and third slip. And that's going to run away to the boundary for 4. Smith's off the mark, takes New Zealand to 180, 878.
Ball just leaving him a little bit. He gets on the back foot, comes forward, places the ball, slants the bat, finds the gap, gets 4 runs.
A lot of pressure being applied to Martin Snedden. But he's weathering the storm well. He's been there for 46 minutes. And that's beaten him. It's beaten wicketkeeper Taylor as well. And that's running through for 4 byes.
Right. That one turned, went through bat and pad. The first sign of a ball turning. Difficult ball to take for Taylor. Have a look how it goes between bat and pad. Jumped. That's on the first day. New Zealanders haven't got a spin bowler in the side.
Half an hour to stumps. Ian Botham with 4 for 42. A good day's work off 23 overs. Here he is with a new ball to Snedden. Well, that's the easiest way I know of taking the shine off a new ball. And that's through running it along the grass on the way to the boundary. And they're going to come back for 3 runs. Just a little dab by Martin Snedden down through the gully to the vacant third-man area. Not much force on the shot, but he moves to 7 and the score's 190.
Yes, he just poked at that one, really. If we watch Martin, he just pushed the bat out, just nudged it wide of third slip, and it ran away for 3 runs. With the new ball coming, I wonder whether it would have been better to put Cairns in with Cook bowling with the old ball before this arrived. But however, the decision's been made, and Ian Smith's doing well at this stage.
He's facing Botham. Good shot. Short from Botham outside the off stump. That's a nice back cut from Ian Smith. And he's got 4. He goes to 14. The score's 196 for 7.
Looking at it from another angle. Got over the top of it. And more runs for Ian Smith.
196 for 7, the new over now from Bob Willis. Again off the edge, and it's 4 more runs. There's no third man down there. That ball fair scooting away to that boundary. And Martin Snedden goes to double figures. He's 11. The New Zealand 200 is up 200 for the loss of 7.
Yes, well, again, Peter, amazing, really, with this new ball that Bob Willis and Ian Botham are both bowling without a third man. And there's Bob Willis with a mid-off and a cover. And I don't think Martin Snedden's hit one forward of point yet, even with the old ball.
Bob Willis with 1 wicket today. Peel for a catch behind, and he's out. Bob Taylor takes the catch. That's Bob Willis's 307th Test wicket, and he's equalled Freddie Truman's record on the England list. Big moment for Bob Willis. 1 more to break the England record held by Fred Truman. Bob Taylor took the catch, and New Zealand now 200 for the loss of 8 with Snedden out. Caught Taylor, bowled Willis for 11. So Willis to Cairns. Oh, and a brilliant catch. A brilliant catch, and that's the record for Bob Willis. The catch taken by Mike Gatting at third slip. And Bob Willis has now taken 308 Test wickets, and he becomes the highest England Test wicket taker of all time. Moves into 3rd place on the all-time list behind Dennis Lilly and Lance Gibbs. And he now moves ahead of Freddie Truman's 307. So Bob Willis, with his 3rd wicket today, moves to a total of 308. This is his 84th Test match. Marvellous achievement by the popular England captain. So there's the story of Bob Willis's career. A 34-year-old in his 84th Test, 308 Test wickets at an average of 24.36, and of course his best bowling 8 for 43 in that famous match at Headingley in 1981 against Australia, when England won after having to follow on.
Yes, a good performance really by Bob Willis, and that was a good length ball just outside the off stump. What a superb catch as Mike Gatting dived away to his right and took it in both hands. A coach right out of the MCC coaching book. Everything was right, and Bob Willis taking the record, and thoroughly deserved. Bob Willis has had some pretty difficult times over the years. As I said, he's had Fleet Street on his back more than once. And here he is again from another angle. Just pushing forward. Lance Cairns not really over the top. There it is, flying to Mike Gatting's right. And look at him diving away, catching it, taking it beautifully and cleanly. And that's the end of Lance Cairns and the record to Bob Willis.
Oh, that looks as though that's out LBW. Yes, it certainly is. It kept low on Smith, and he played right back in front of middle stump, and so the New Zealand innings draws to a close with the total at 219.
And here it is. See the shot he's going to play, Smith, or attempts to play, playing it across the line. Ball keeping low, coming into him. Loud appeal, and that's the verdict. Out.
So New Zealand all out for a rather disappointing 219 after winning the toss and batting first. The successful England bowler, or the most successful England bowler, was Ian Botham, 5 for 59 off 27 overs and 4 balls. Bob Willis picked up 3 wickets, Foster and Cook 1 each. Richard Hadlee bowling to Chris Tavares.
The first ball is a loud appeal for a caught behind by the New Zealand players. This one going back through Tavares, not a lot of carry on it. And on the replay, we may get a better indication.
And the champion bowler in action straight away. Ball keeping a shade low, cutting back a little, I think. Everybody sounded and looked very confident. But Tavre survives.
And this is a good, strong shot through mid-wicket by Smith. There'll be at least 2, probably 3 runs. In fact, it's gone all the way to the boundary, an effortless shot. It just shows you how quick the ball is travelling across the outfield. So England now on to 6, and Smith off the mark with that 4.
And that's through Smith. A very good delivery from Snedden. Unfortunately for Snedden, Smith doesn't get a touch through to wicketkeeper Smith. Well bowled, Martin Snedden.
That was, it seemed to nip back a bit, but let's have another look at it. Oh, just nips through there and just over the top of the middle stump.
That's a beautiful ball and almost bowls Tavre as he slicks it for 4 down through the leg side area. What a good ball from Lance Cairns, and Tavre lucky to survive that.
He certainly was, Warren. Let's have another look at this one. Tavre, seeing the ball is up to him, goes for the drive, but it drops and swings in, and he just gets a little inside edge, and it whistles past the leg stump.
It's 30 without loss, and Snedden bowling to Smith. Fuller of length, good shot from Smith on the leg side. Big chase here for John Wright, but he'll have to give it away. It's 4 runs, and Chris Smith moves to 20. England go to 34. Snedden to Smith. Oh, that's a beautiful shot from Chris Smith. He got a little width outside the off stump. The ball swinging away, and Smith putting his front foot to the ball and just crashing it through extra cover for 4 runs. Chris Smith to 24, and England to 38.
Lovely, just leaning into the shot. Full weight of the body going into it and finding the gap. Marvellous stroke.
Cairns bowling from the southern end to Smith. Oh, what a brilliant catch from Hadlee. That's the first England wicket down. Richard Hadlee, an outstanding catch in the gully. And Chris Smith is out. Lance Cairns, 98 test wickets. England, 41 for 1. Smith out for 27.
Absolutely a good ball, cutting away Smith, driving, and taken absolutely brilliantly by Richard Hadlee in the gully to his left.
Well up, and Lamb will get off the mark with a strong shot wide of mid-on. They'll take at least 3, probably going for 4. In fact, it does. So Lamb off the mark with that very strong shot wide of mid-on. Chatfield. Well up, and Gower hits this one in the air, but very safely, goes behind square. Snedden can't get around from deep fine leg, and so Gower takes 4 for the shot. He goes to 13, and England total now up to 59 for 2. Cairns into Lamb, wide of the crease, and he angles this back in. A good delivery. It almost did Lamb, in fact, but that's lunch. New Zealand, after having scored 219, they have got England 62 for 2 at lunch.
Cairns to Lamb. And Lamb pulls him into the onside, but brilliantly fielded, just backward of square by Martin Crowe, diving to his left and prevents any runs. Cairns to Lamb. That's a good ball from Cairns. A stifled appeal for LBW. Certainly going down the leg side. Troubled Lamb. Didn't quite get in position.
A fast delivery, quickish delivery, slanted into Lamb. Lamb trying to hit it on the leg side. Misses it on the front pad.
Cairns to Lamb. And that's a good, oh, brilliant catch by Martin Crowe at short leg. And that's the end of Lamb. He's out for 13, and England lose their 3rd wicket at 84. A brilliant catch at short leg. They just moved that man in there. Martin Crowe had come in from backward square into short leg. And that's Lance Cairns' 100th test wicket. A very valuable one for New Zealand. Lance Cairns will be very pleased. That's his 100th test wicket and a brilliant catch at short leg from Martin Crowe.
Yes, what a fine achievement by Lance Cairns, and how well he has bowled. He's about to complete his century of test wickets inside edge from Lamb, and a brilliant left-handed catch by Martin Crowe.
Cairns bowling very well. 3 for 20 off 12 overs. And Gower smashes this in through the offside, short of a length. Beautiful shot, and that's 4 runs.
Cairns to Gower. Oh, and a marvellous catch again. It's Richard Hadlee. And Lance Cairns has got 4 wickets, and David Gower, the England danger man, is out for 33. It's 92 for 3.
What a wonderful catch, Peter. That one moving away from Gower. When he went to clip it, he didn't get over the top. It went high and wide, and Hadlee dived and took it magnificently, and David Gower is out. Have another look from another angle. There it is, flying away. Richard Hadlee throwing himself to his right, completely airborne. What a wonderful catch.
93 for 4. As Chatfield bowls to Botham. Oh, and he's dropped. Lance Cairns has dropped a catch at third slip, and Ian Botham has not yet scored. It's 99 for 4 as Chatfield bowls to Botham. Inside edge in the air, just past the outstretched hand of Martin Crowe, and they've run a single. So Botham is 2. That's the England 100 up. 100 for the loss of 4 wickets.
Cairns. And this will go down to the third man boundary, likely for 4. Jeff Crow's in hot pursuit, but no third man, so it is 4. Cairns. Oh, there's a loud appeal for LBW, and Gatting's out. That was an awful shot from Gatting. The line was wrong. He tried to sweep the medium pace of Cairns, and so the 5th England wicket goes down with the total at 115. That of Gatting for 19 of some 38 deliveries, and so England now in real trouble in pursuit of New Zealand's 219.
Once again from a different angle, going on the front foot. Not really going far enough. Tries to play across the line, the sweep shot against a medium pacer.
Cairns having just dismissed Gatting. Those very impressive figures indeed at 5 for 45 as he comes into Randall. Up to Randall, and he gets off the mark here with a good-looking cover drive. Goes through square cover, and that'll be 4. Just lent into it. And so England now go through on to 119 for the loss of 5 wickets. Botham facing Cairns, wide of the crease. Well up, and he's hit it in the air, and it's just got over Edgar at mid-wicket. In fact, Edgar got a long way up to that one. Got as far off the ground as he possibly could, and that was a very lucky escape indeed for Ian Botham. Cairns, he's hit it down to mid-off, and it's just parried away by Martin Snedden. Not a difficult chance at all, and that's the 3rd occasion that Ian Botham could have been dismissed.
Hadlee to Botham. It's outside the off stump and beautifully placed through cover region by Ian Botham. 4 runs off the back foot. That's the England 150. They go to 153, and Botham moves to 31. Hadlee to Botham. Short rising ball, and Botham's got hold of this and hit it very square for 4 runs. Hadlee dropped one short and hit very well away square by Botham. Hadlee to Randall. It's inside the off stump and beautifully square cut by Derek Randall. 4 runs. And Snedden moves in to Ian Botham. And Botham has a wind-up at this, pitched on the leg stump. It's gone through between mid-off and mid-wicket, through for 4 runs. England move on to 170, and Ian Botham onto 42.
It's Hadlee to Botham. And he hits it off the back foot. That's a magnificent shot. Through extra cover. No stopping that one.
182 for 5. Snedden to Botham. Off the edge, down towards third man. Hadlee field, but they're going to run one, and that's all there'll be, but that's the half century for Ian Botham. He's 50. England the 183 for 5. Ian Botham, 50 runs in just 76 balls and 98 minutes at the crease and 8 fours in that innings.
Snedden to Botham. And Botham going for the big hit over square leg, and that is going to be 6. It certainly is. And that's the first 6 of the match. It brings up the England 200. They move to 204, and Ian Botham moves on to 66. Crow to Botham. And Botham hooks the short ball. It's forward of square for 4 runs. There's a man backward of square. Into the fence. It nearly demolished that cameraman you see there. Martin Crowe's bowling to Derek Randall. And Randall crashes that outside the off stump through the cover field. No question, 4 runs. 218 the England score, and Derek Randall moves on to 29.
100 partnership as well, coming up in 85 minutes.
And Snedden moving in to bowl to Ian Botham. And Botham has been dropped again at mid-on.
Yes, no doubt about that one. That was going hard and low, but it certainly carried to John Wright. Have another look at it. Martin Snedden. Ian Botham unwinding. He didn't really get hold of it, dragged it round a bit, but there it is to John Wright, straight to the 2 hands, but he didn't hold it.
And Chatfield here in his 17th over. He has none for 38 and been rather unfortunate. This one nipping back onto Randall. Has to play a hurried shot, but he will get 2. It goes down to Lance Cairns, and therefore the loud applause goes to Randall with those 2 runs. He has brought up his 50, and his 50 from 88 deliveries in 127 minutes. 4 boundaries. Looking for a cheeky single, and he'll take it here too. Just a little single into the offside field. Edgar coming in reasonably quickly, but they managed to get a good understanding going between themselves there, Botham and Randall. And so Botham now through to 95. And 265 for 5 now. So the 150 partnership. Cairns. A wide half volley, and that'll be 4 runs. No need to run for that. Not a good delivery from Cairns. Randall cashing in, so he races to 60. England to 274 for 5.
Yes. Randall loves that stroke. That delivery just outside the off stump. Into it. Full flow of the bat. Times it. Let's have a look at that bat, and both arms moving very straight.
Ian Botham now poised to bring up his 100 in the last over of the day's play.
Certainly Ian Botham's match to date. He took 5 wickets when New Zealand batted. Now he's on 99 facing Ewan Chatfield. And there's the century. 4 runs just in front of points. Ian Botham 103. His 13th Test century. England at 293 for 5.
Yes, Peter, this was a powerful shot. He just stood up and crashed it through the offside. Ewan Chatfield not really spraying too much. Have another look at just dragging it down a shade, stood up and crashed it through cover point. 4 all the way. So Ian Botham 103.
And after Ian Botham brought up his Test century, there were no further runs scored in the day's play, and at stumps on the second day, 293 for 5, with Botham 103 not out and Derek Randall 71 not out. An unfinished stand for the 6th wicket of 178 runs. Of the New Zealand bowlers today, only Lance Cairns was successful. He took 5 wickets and that brought up his 100 wickets in Test cricket. Richard Hadlee bowled 15 overs for 48, and perhaps the most unlucky of the New Zealand players today, Ewan Chatfield, 20 overs, no wicket for 58.
Snedden moves into bowl to Ian Botham. And Botham going for the big hit onto the leg side. He gets it over the top of square leg, and it's running into the boundary for 4 now. And that was Ian Botham's 20th 4 as Martin Snedden moves into bowl. And a little bit wider outside the off stump. Botham, plenty of power outside the off stump off the back foot, and that's going away through down the ground, 4 runs. 325 the score, and Hadlee to bowl to Derek Randall. And Randall square cutting. Richard had a short ball outside the off stump, and that's not a very good delivery. 4 runs.
Keynes to both. On the offside, he drives it. Straight hit. See where that has gone, and that's gone right over the fence. 6 runs. Magnificent blow by Ian Botham. Let's have a look at this delivery again. Full swing of the bat, lot of power going into it, and the result was never in any doubt. This time off the back foot, punches it away, and that's going to be 4. This is batting from another planet. There is no stopping this man. 138.
As Keynes continues, and that's another big hit from Ian Botham, but he hasn't got hold of it. It's straight up in the air. Jeff Crowe's underneath and takes a very difficult catch, and that's the end of Ian Botham for 138.
Well, that's the way this man was playing. He was taking his chances. And an end of a very, very entertaining innings, and very rich in value for England. Let's have a look at that dismissal. He's trying to hit the ball straight over the bowler's head, gets the outside half of the bat. It goes very high at point where we found Jeff Crowe was waiting for it, and a well-judged catch. Once again got under the ball, hit it really high, and that's Jeff Crowe. See, he keeps his head very still, watches the ball straight into his hands. Good catch, good temperament.
Keynes to Taylor. Good shot too. He plays it just behind point. He'll get a couple of runs. Just eased into it. He'll look for 3, and Randall is coming back very quickly for 3. So with that shot, Taylor is off the mark, and the England 350 comes up. He tickles us down the leg side. He'll get it fine enough. It should beat Hadlee. Go for 4. So that's 4 more to Randall. Just a very fine leg glance.
Lance Keynes straying a little down the leg side, and Derek Randall very effective on that leg stump. Hit it fine and beat fine leg.
So Derek Randall just 1 short of what will be his 6th Test century. He's facing Lance Keynes. And there's a bit of hesitation here. This run might not count. And in fact, Taylor is run out. Bob Taylor is run out. And Randall is still on 99. Bob Taylor is run out for 14. England are 372 for 7. And Derek Randall did not bring up his 100 with that run. Let's look at the dismissal. Keynes and Randall turning him on the onside. Martin Crowe, smart piece of fielding. And The replay doesn't necessarily show us a great deal, but umpire Fred Goodall said Taylor did not make his ground. Out, run out.
Yes, the same mannerisms from Derek Randall, just a little quicker as Cairns moves into bowl. And he pushes into the offside, and that's his 100. And that's Derek Randall's 28th first-class 100 and second in consecutive innings, and the 6th in tests, the first against New Zealand. And he spent 50 minutes on 99.
Yes, an amazing performance. This just a little wide from Lance Cairns. Derek Randall dabbing it away, beating John Wright at a shortish third-man position and going away to the boundary for 4. Having a look from another angle, just standing up, opening the face, sliding off the face and racing away for 4. So after 50-odd minutes on 99, Derek Randall gets 4 to go to 103.
Cook's on strike, 2 attacking fielders, plus a slip as Cairns moves into bowl. A good ball, an appeal for caught behind, and he's out. Nick Cook caught Smith, bowled Cairns for 7 runs.
This ball from Lance Cairns, just moving in a shade, but then moving away off the track, tempting Nick Cook to attempt to drive, taking an outside edge, a loud appeal from all the New Zealand fieldsmen, and umpire Steve Woodward had no hesitation in giving Nick Cook out. So Lance Cairns, 7 wickets for 114 runs. What a magnificent performance by him. 39.2 overs.
Chatfield turning at the top of his run to bowl the last over of the last ball of the morning session to Derek Randall, and Randall cuts that one past point, and that's 4 runs. Takes the total to 394, and Derek Randall to 109. Not out, Foster's 4 not out, 394 for 8, and that's lunch.
Hadlee to Randall. Oh, a delightful shot from Derek Randall. 4 runs. That's the England 400. 408 for 8. Oh, another delightful shot from Derek Randall. Pierces the gap between cover and extra cover. 4 runs. Randall 125. Cairns to Foster. That's a nice shot from the number 10 batsman. Classic cover drive for 4 runs. Hadlee to Foster. There goes the first one. That's in retaliation for Neil Foster bowling short pitch deliveries to Richard Hadlee back on Friday. It's 418 for 8. Hadlee to Foster. .426 for 8. Hadlee to Foster. And that's out. Caught by Jeffrey Howarth at 3rd slip. Neil Foster is out for 10. 426 for 9. Richard Hadlee has his first wicket. And Jeffrey Howarth's 200th first-class catch.
That's good bowling by Hadlee. Well pitched up delivery, cutting away from Foster, going on the front foot, but straight to Jeffrey Hart, 2nd slip, and a good catch.
Cairns to Randall. Oh, he has a real slog at this, but he hits it in the middle of the bat, way over mid-wicket for 4 runs. An effective shot from Randall, but hardly orthodox. Cairns, leg spin, he hits this one over mid-on, wideish mid-on. And that's 6 runs. Didn't appear to get that much bat on it, but he certainly must have. And this has gone over wide mid-on for 6.
Yes, this is an amazing shot. Not a bad-looking ball, but Derek Randall leaping down the wicket, attacking it with great enthusiasm and straight over wideish long on for 6 runs.
charges and crashes it through the covers, and that's 4. Good shot. 4 to Randall. That's his 150. Goes up to 152, Randall. And England to 448. Great performance by Randall. This one well pitched up to him outside off stump, but he progresses himself down the wicket. It was roundabout off stump, but he gave himself a little bit of room and crashed it through the covers. 1 for 97, Hadlee. Oh, that's beautiful. I'd love to see that again. How to lose a little bit of poise and composure to a short delivery by Bob Willis. Hadlee, another short one. He's hit him on the helmet this time, and he's really ducked into that. It's not all that short, but it's not really necessary either. In fact, that's hurt Bob Willis. Willis crushed it by Hadlee. It's hit him on the side of the head. Watch how this one is bowled short, certainly, but Willis just squatted down and got into the line of it. And it's hit him on the side flaps, I would say, of the helmet. And it's causing him some discomfort. Obviously, you can't take the complete sting out of the ball through the helmet.
Snedden to Randall. That's on the stumps, and Randall hitting away into the onside in the air, and that's 6 runs. Snedden to Randall. Randall outside the leg stump. It's high in the air on the offside, and that's a boundary 4. Snedden to Randall. Again, he moves outside the leg stump and tucks it away down past slip. Hadlee, the fielder, at 3rd man, and that's 1 run. It's the end of the over, 4-6-3 for 9. Hadlee to Randall. And he hits that in the air, and Martin Crowe takes a lovely catch at mid-wicket, and that's the end of the England innings. Randall is out, bowled Hadlee, caught Martin Crowe at mid-wicket for 164. Willis is not out 5. It's 463 all out.
And that's the Randall's end, trying to hit the ball over the top, but hits it straight to Martin Crowe, fielding at mid-wicket. End of a very good innings of 164. England all out, 4-6-3. Let's have a look at that. Attempted a lofted hit by Randall, which ended his innings. Catch to Martin Crowe.
So with the dismissal of Derek Randall for 164, the England innings totaled 463 all out, 132.4 overs, and the innings dominated, of course, by the number 6 and number 7 batsmen, Ian Botham and Derek Randall. A contrast in styles, Ian Botham typically swashbuckling, giving the bowlers a chance on plenty of occasions. In fact, he was dropped 3 times. Derek Randall, a chanceless innings, caressing the ball through the covers and the mid-off area. 164 he scored, and those two were associated in a partnership of 232, which is just 8 runs short of the all-time England 6th wicket record. So England 463 all out. The New Zealand bowlers conceded a first innings lead of 244, but their main performer, in fact their outstanding performer, was Lance Cairns. There's really not too much you can say about the effort of this man. A marathon 45 overs, 7 for 143. He becomes the first New Zealand bowler to take 7 wickets in a test innings on 2 occasions.
Willis, the first ball to John Wright. And it's on the line of the leg stump, and John Wright hits it firmly away through the mid-wicket area. 2, turning for 3. And New Zealand, second innings underway, 3 without loss.
Willis to John Wright. Pulls it and middles it. Ball wasn't all that short. He's going to get runs there. And that's 4 runs.
Is Willis to right. Oh, through the legs of Derek Randall at leg gully, a chance. John Wright gets a single. He's 13. The total is 19, but that was luck for New Zealand.
This ball from Willis, he dropped it in short on the line of the leg stump. John Wright got up, flicked it away around the corner, and it went in the air to Derek Randall, who couldn't hold on to it. So John Wright gets a let off.
It's Foster. Bouncer, and he gets a top edge, but it goes over the keeper's head. Very fine down to deep, fine leg. Edgar accepting the challenge on the hook there, but not playing a convincing shot.
Yes, a short pitch delivery by Foster. Edgar likes to play that stroke, gets the top edge, clears the leg slip fieldsman, goes very fine, and gets 4 runs for that.
Bruce Edgar on 17. Flips it off his toes. Could be square enough here to get 2 runs. And this field by Cook. And so he goes through for 2 easy runs, and now up to 19. And the 50. Yes, the New Zealand 50 comes up in the 16th over. Botham. A short one, and he goes for the cut, and there'll be 4 runs from this. Bruce Edgar getting over it reasonably well. And into the 3rd man boundary for 4.
Willis to Edgar. Short ball down leg side, an appeal for caught behind. Umpire Woodward says no.
Well, this delivery from Bob Willis going down the leg side, it looks like it just clipped Bruce Edgar's thigh pad. Bob Taylor moving brilliantly to his right and picking it up, but I don't think Bruce Edgar got a touch to that. It looks like it just touched his thigh pad.
And John Wright's hitting in the air, and he's out. He's caught it mid-on.
Well, John Wright, he looked to hit him over the top. It was never really there. He didn't get hold of it, and he hit the relatively easy catch down to mid-on. So John Wright, New Zealand's first wicket, falling at 62. Watch this delivery. Just dropped on him a little. He didn't get hold of it and hit a relatively simple catch down to mid-on. But having another look from another angle, just didn't get hold of it at all. Maybe it dropped on him, and a very simple catch.
And what we have to watch here, if Nick Cook of Leicestershire and England is getting any turn on this pitch, certainly bowling very good length and line. This time he's swept on the leg side, fine, and it's going to be 4. It is. Just going down the leg side, and Edgar very quickly to pick the line, swept him fine. There it is.
69 for 1 as Willis bowls to Howarth, who's yet to score. Another no ball. It's 70 for the loss of 1. And extras move to 7.
And England captain Bob Willis having 1 or 2 problems with his front foot. Overstepping the front line. And has been no-balled in this match so far on several occasions. And it's this time it's Bob Willis again to Hart. A delivery on the leg side, flicked away by Jeffrey Hart. He's going to get 1. Now he's going to get more than that. 4 runs. Misfield, a bad one by young Neil Foster. Yes, and I think the scene is absolutely perfect for Edgar to get a big score. Shall we say 150, 175, maybe 225?
Any of those options would do, I'm sure, Billy.
Yeah, and he's got the temperament and the technique to do it. And of course, 2 days to go. It could happen. It must happen if New Zealanders are going to get out of this match safely. It's Willis to Edgar. Well pitched up delivery, and that's the ball. He's succeeded. Edgar is out, caught behind.
This is how it happened.
That's the line, roundabout off stump, got the edge, and Taylor, that magnificent wicketkeeper, completes the task for England, for his captain Willis. There he is.
Well, now can Martin Crowe and Jeff Howarth see New Zealand safely through to stumps? About 35 minutes away. Certainly a different Geoffrey Howarth from what we saw in the first innings when he was batting there. He only got to 13, but he was quite free with his arms and played some flourishing shots. But yeah, he's really in a quite defensive mood.
Yes.
Oh, very nearly New Zealand's third wicket down as David Gower just could not snare that one as it flew away. Bat pad onto the offside. End of the over. Howarth 6, Crowe yet to score, 79 for 2.
And there it is, well-flighted delivery, pushing Hart onto the front foot, bat and pad. He touched it, but just couldn't hold on to it. We have another look here. See how the ball is pitched up to him. Turns, bit of dust, and he falls down.
And that's a good shot there from Martin Crowe. No need to run for that. He's just worked it wide of the bowler, between mid-on and the bowler, just on the onside, effortlessly. Must be late in the day to be getting these words out. And so Crowe, with that shot, he gets off the mark.
Yes, a good shot, that, Glenn. Just over-pitched a shade, but Martin Crowe leaning into it, timing, all timing there, stroking it nicely, just wide of the bowler on the onside, and racing away for 4.
And that's taken him 22 minutes to get off the mark. And that was the first delivery that he faced from Nick Cook.
You've been having a couple of gins, Glenn?
Certainly not during working hours. And another good shot, and that'll be 4 more. Oh, that's even better still. Let it come on to him, played it a little later, went through mid-wicket instead of through mid-on. Top stuff there from Martin Crowe. The half volley to Howarth. He checks the shot a bit, and you'll probably only get 3 for it. Fowler in hot pursuit. Good corrected shot from Howarth, although it was a juicy half volley and he knew it really should go for 4. He was content to just get everything technically right and stroke it through the covers for 3.
A further 2 runs added after that shot by Geoffrey Howarth, and it stumps New Zealand 93 for the loss of 2 wickets, with Howarth not out on 11 and the 21-year-old Martin Crowe there on 8.
So Howarth to take strike to Nick Cook. And that's a bad delivery and a good loosener for Jeff Howarth to get off the mark with first thing this morning, and he powers it through the covers off the back foot. So Howarth up to 15.
First delivery of the day by Cook, short of length, and Geoffrey Howarth very quickly on the back foot punches it through the cover area. 4 runs, and that's a good start for him.
But it's Willis now. To Crowe. Bit of an inside edge, but he'll get 2 runs for it. It doesn't go very far from the bat, but if the field as it's placed is a comfortable 2 runs for Crowe. He goes into double figures now. He goes on to 10. And the New Zealand 100 comes up. 100 for 2. With Willis coming in to Crowe. Short one, and that very nearly carried to getting in close. It took the handle of the bat and almost spooned to him.
That was a good delivery. Lot of speed in that. Ball coming up very, very sharply. The ball hung in the air, but not long enough for getting. And it's Willis to Crowe. And that's a good delivery. Well up to him, but beautifully driven by Crowe, who on straight drives it. And he's going to get 4 runs. Lovely shot. Well up to him. Crowe saw the length, played through the line, pushed it just to the right of Bob Willis on the onside. Let's have a look at that. See how quickly the bat comes. A push, full face of the bat. Perfect timing and placement.
So New Zealand now on to 109 for 2. Now that is a good shot from Crow, and he'll only get a single for it because it's a very good piece of fielding out there by Randall. A quicker one, but short, and Crow's able to take hold of this one. He hits it just in front of point for 4 runs. Crow on to 21. And New Zealand now 115 for 2. And Howe checks this. He'll get 2 runs or even more. Randall chose to try and dive to stop it. Didn't manage to do so. And in fact, it's carried through to the boundary. 4 to Howe. He's on to 23.
Bob Willis to Martin Crowe. Well, that's a beautiful shot from Martin Crowe. 4 runs away through the covers. Foster can give up the chase for that one.
What a good shot that was from Martin Crowe. It was foolish, and Martin Crowe leaned into it with a full face of the bat. If we have another look at it, there is leaning forward, following through the line that the ball took off on, and straight through to the boundary.
Botham on his way to Howarth, 129 for 2. Short, hooked, 4 runs. Howarth 29, it's 133 for 2.
Well, this was a pretty gentle sort of a bouncer. It was hardly in the bouncer category, but a loosener which landed halfway down the wicket. Jeff Howarth latched onto it very quickly, and no mistake about that. 4 runs.
So New Zealand maintaining a good run scoring rate this morning. That's 40 runs in just over 40 minutes. Botham to Crowe.
Yep.
Oh, another nice shot from Martin Crowe. 4 more runs, this time just behind points. Martin Crowe reaches his captain's score. He's also 30. New Zealand 138 for 2.
What am I
Botham to Crowe. Field for an LBW, but Crowe well forward. Steve Woodward not impressed.
Maybe we'll start again on that one, Peter. Ian Botham. Yes, well forward, Martin Crowe. It was never really on. It hit him well on the front pad, high on the front pad, outside the line of the off stump.
Martin Crowe on 30, facing Botham. Heel for an LBW. Looked to be missing leg from here. End of the over, 138 for 2. So there's the situation in the match. New Zealand trailing by 106 with 8 wickets still in hand in their second innings. 138 for 2. Nice shot from Martin Crowe. You can put 4 runs on that one. Cook dropping it short. Crowe on the back foot, punching it through the covers. Martin Crowe 34. New Zealand 143 for 2.
Yes, Nick Cook just dragging it down, and Martin Crowe onto it quickly. Gave himself a wee bit of room, and straight through the covers. No chance. And 4 runs. Good shot.
Well, the New Zealand batsmen have done a very good job this morning, but as we have stressed in our telecast this morning, there's still a lot of work left to be done. There's 4 more runs to Jeff Howarth. Botham dropping it short. Howarth cutting. 4 runs to backward point. Howarth goes to 34. New Zealand to 147.
Yes, this is a good shot, Peter. He didn't have that much room. Dropped it short, and but he was over the top and clipped it away through point. And with the close-in fieldsman still there, no one back. There it is again from another angle. Good shot, Jeff Howarth.
149 for 2. Cook to Crowe. Oh, beautiful shots from Martin Crowe. 4 runs. What an effortless drive. Martin Crowe 39. New Zealand to 153 for 2. So they've decided that they'll strengthen that offside field. David Gow moving out from the bat pad catching position on the offside out to short cover as Cook bowls to Crowe. And that is a very unfortunate incident. Jeff Howarth has been run out at the bowler's end. A powerfully hit shot from Martin Crowe, And Nick Cook thrust out a hand as Howarth was backing up. Cook thrust out a hand, the ball ricocheted from his hand, dislodged a bail. Jeff Crow standing out of his ground. That is an absolutely freak dismissal, and what tragedy for the New Zealand captain. Jeff Howarth run out for 34. Oh dear, oh dear.
Well, I can only agree with you, Peter. What a tragedy. It's one of the great cruelties of cricket. An over-pitch delivery, Martin Crowe moving into it beautifully, hit it incredibly powerfully. Now watch Nick Cook. Got a little touch on it, and there's Jeff Howarth to the right of your screen, out of his crease. And umpire Fred Goodall adjudged that the ball had touched Nick Cook's hand, and he adjudged Jeff Howarth out. But as you say, Peter, absolute tragedy for New Zealand and Jeff Howarth.
Cook to Martin Crowe. A little bit more in. Martin Crowe. Beautiful shot through mid-on, just between the bowler and mid-on. 4 runs. It's good length ball, and Martin Crowe, beautiful on drive between mid-on and the bowler. 4 more runs. 162 the score. Martin Crowe moves to 47.
And this is really top-class batting. On drive, beautifully played, measured, and that's the result. Who is going to match that? Really, the stroke play of Martin Crowe this morning has been outstanding. It's Botham to Jeff Crowe. That's the bouncer, but not well directed. Didn't come up very much. Well, he certainly has been very keen on hooking the ball in both his innings. He's playing his second one here against Botham now. That's a short one this time, outside the off stump.
Jeff Crowe seems very anxious to hook these short pitch deliveries. Here comes Botham again. And that's pitched further up, and he's out LBW. Jeff Crowe, LBW, Ian Botham for 3, and New Zealand lose their 4th wicket at 165.
Well, that's typical Botham bowling, intelligent bowling, I would call it. He bowled 1 or 2 short ones to Jeff Crowe, got him hooking once or twice, more or less told him that he was trying to bounce him out, and then bowled a ball of a very full length. We see it here, and Jeff Crowe going on the back foot too early and staying there. Tried to come forward, but it was too late, and got hit just in front of middle and leg. And we knew as soon as the ball hit the pads what the result would be. That's Jeremy Coney coming out to bat.
And Cook again to Martin Crowe. And that's given plenty of air. It's in fact a full toss, and Martin Crowe hits it wide of the wide mid-on through the mid-wicket area. Alan Lamb chasing. He can't stop it. That's 4 more. That's Martin Crowe's 50. He moves to 52. And the New Zealand score to 169.
That's his first 50 in Test cricket. And what a brilliant innings it has been, but he's got a very long job ahead of him.
And Coney driving off the back foot through that vacant area and the offside. Derek Randall giving chase. They've turned for 2, they're going for 3, but it's into the boundary for 4, and Jeremy Coney's off the mark. New Zealand move on to 173.
Just a little bit of gardening. Obviously, he's had a look at the clock, but I think you're going to struggle, Jerry Coney. And he'll dab this one down, though, and it could well be 4 if, in fact, the ball has sufficient momentum. Could be embarrassing if it stops just inside. And it doesn't, then I think Smith will be gratified at that. They may well have run 5 had it not.
So at lunch, New Zealand still 53 runs behind, making England bat again. 191 for 4 at the break. The batsman out in the morning session, Jeff Howarth, run out, and rather a freak dismissal, out for 34, and Jeff Crowe LBW to Botham for 3.
Short outside the off stump, a beautiful shot from Martin Crowe, but equally beautiful fielding from Gower and Gully. Prevents any runs off that ball.
It's Foster again. Once again, he finds the gap through Gully and second slip. He's taking 1, 2, and it's going to be 4 more. Of course, Nicely played stroke off the front foot, guiding the ball on the offside between gully and second slip.
And that's the New Zealand 200, 202. Martin Crowe's moved to 66 with that shot. Cook to Crowe, and he's trying to sweep him, and that hits the helmet. Now, this will be a very interesting situation. And the New Zealanders are turning for two. The Englishmen seem to be in some quandary as to what to do. Nobody's really got the ball yet. And that's quite right, that's 5 leg byes.
Absolutely, penalty for that. I have never seen that happen, actually. The custom at the moment. No, let's have a look. Taylor misses the ball, keeps low, actually, and hits the helmet. Went through his legs. And that's 5 penalty runs under one of the laws of cricket.
There it is, the new ball. Showing it to everybody concerned, who needs to know, probably a few others as well. And so it's the new ball, the second new ball of England's, New Zealand's second innings, 227 for 4 New Zealand.
He goes for a hook and he gets it away very nicely indeed. Just behind square leg for 4. Dragged down short from Botham, not getting really as high as he would have liked. And so Coney goes to 26.
Ian Botham firing this one in short, but not a lot of back going into that one. And Jeremy Coney quick into position, got hold of it nicely. 4 runs all the way.
Will Botham try him with another one? He does. It's gone straight up in the air, but it's going to fall safe. It falls just behind square. Lamb rushing in up from deep fine leg, and Smith going back from mid-wicket, but falling harmlessly between the 2 fielders. And so Coney takes 1 for the shot.
Well, goodness gracious me, Botham almost telegraphed that to Jeremy Coney, and he took up the challenge, and he got a top edge high on the splice, and he was ever so lucky. Chris Smith coming around there, just dropping out of his reach.
And there'll be runs here, no third man in. Could well go away down there for 4 runs, and does so. Really, Coney was defending this one, and it bounced a little bit on him, and rather fortunate to get 4 runs.
16 fours in 82 runs. That's 64 in boundary hits. And there's another one of those shots I was just talking about. That's 4 runs. Martin Crowe is 86, New Zealand 241, just 3 runs away from making England bat again. Botham to Coney. And there it is, he could be out. No, it's gone underneath Nick Cook's hands and away to the boundary for 4. Coney is 36, New Zealand at 245 for 3, and now in credit, 1 run in credit. They've wiped off the deficit.
That's the short pitch delivery again, and Coney very quickly into it. Hits it in the air, but the ball drops just short of Cook. And that's the result. Goes under him for 4 runs.
That's a short ball, and Coney goes for the slash, and it goes over the top of slips, 4 runs. And that's Jeremy Coney's 50.
Well, this is what we've been talking about, the short delivery. Coney gave himself a little bit of room there. It was a wee bit astray from Botham, and he was high. He got it back to it over the top of slips, and it was 4 runs to Jeremy Coney's 50. Botham to Coney. Off the back foot. Good-looking shot. This should be for Nick Cook, lumbering after it, but he won't drag that in. So 4 more to Coney. 54, Jeremy Coney, 265 New Zealand. Good-looking shot. Let's have a look at the shot that brought Coney's 50 up. Shortish delivery, thrown in short, as I say, just outside the off stump. Coney thrusting a bat up at it, getting it over the top of slips. And that was the shot which Jeremy Coney just got 4 more for, just through extra cover.
Botham to Coney. No. Short ball pushed into the point area. And that last boundary from Jeremy Coney brought up the 100 partnership between Martin Crowe and Jeremy Coney. And that's a beautiful shot. It's just over Garrett Gully at 4 runs.
Yes, well, that ball was very firmly struck. It was short of length and wide from Ian Botham. We'll have another look at it. Fires it in short. Martin Crowe's hammering it into the gully area, and I think David Gow got a hand up and got a touch to it, but my word, that was going, and that went away for 4. So 92, Martin Crowe.
So Botham moving into bowl to Crowe. And he's pulled it round onto the leg side, just in front of square, and that's 4 runs.
Well, that was a lovely shot, Warren. He didn't have too much room. It was reasonably well up, but my word, that shows a class player. He was able to latch onto that and slam it away just forward of square. Let's have another look at that one. So wasn't that short, but he got onto it quickly and right in the meat of the bat, and away it went. So 96, Martin Crowe poised for his first Test century.
Firmly pushed to mid-on, a quick single as Foster comes round the field, and it's fairly comfortable in the end. That moves Martin Crowe to 97, 275, the New Zealand score.
Interesting. Martin Crowe gets his 100, the age of 21. He'll be second only to Giff Vivian, who 90 and a half when he got his first Test century.
As Willis moves into bowl, pushing it firmly back in the offside. That's 1. They're running very quickly between the wickets. That's 2. Foster's chasing hard, and that's 3, and that's Martin Crowe's century.
It's a wonderful century here to Martin Crowe. That was a great shot, and Bob Willis racing across and congratulating Martin Crowe and Willie Mike and a few of the spectators, and what a wonderful ovation he's getting here at the Basin Reserve. The crowd standing to him, and he well deserves it. Martin Crowe, 100, there are the statistics. What a great performance from this young man who's promised so much, and here he is delivering the goods, and I'm sure all supporters will be thrilled to see this today. And what a great innings it's been. He's played straight, he's hit the ball firmly, he's been very crisp in everything he's done, extremely disciplined.
Getting again to Martin Crowe, and he's caught at first slip by Ian Botham.
Getting's first Test wicket.
Well, goodness gracious me, just time up on the clock for afternoon tea. The 100 up for Martin Crowe. Mike Gatting came on, bowled a wide, and then he bowled a delivery that Martin Crowe thrust forward at. It just moved away a shade, took the edge of the bat, and straight into the waiting hands of Ian Botham at first slip. So Martin Crowe's innings is over. The 5th New Zealand wicket down for 279.
279 for 5. New Zealand have done well so far. Oh, good ball from Gatting. Smart work by Bob Taylor down the leg side. Ball that forced Richard Hadlee to go forward and lose his balance just a little, but he recovered his crease in time.
Yes, that was a dangerous delivery down the leg side. A bit too wide, really. Beautifully taken by Taylor, but it was a wide one. And it wasn't easy for Taylor to take the bails off just in time, but Hadlee was certainly out of his ground.
So the last ball of Gatting's over now. And it's a very good shot from Richard Hadlee. Finds the gap between point and cover. Derek Randall does the fielding, and there's 2 runs to Richard Hadlee. He's off the mark. New Zealand at 281 for 5, and Hadlee 2 with Coney on 55. Botham to Hadlee. And I think we're going to see a bit of that this afternoon.
It's almost on, always on when this man is bowling in Botham and that man is batting. So there is going to be 1 or 2 short deliveries produced by Ian Botham.
Botham to Hadlee. Oh, did not get up at all. Richard Hadlee just about had to dig a hole for himself in the pitch to get underneath that one.
And Hadlee, of course, realizing there is a silly mid-on on the onside, didn't want to play that bouncer. He didn't really get up as much as he had expected.
Oh, that's meat and drink to Richard Hadlee. He loves those ones. Over-tossed on the off stump, and Whammo, 4 runs. Hadlee 6, New Zealand 286.
Botham to Hadlee. Wide one, and he's caught it. No, it's gone through. Cover area, 4 more runs.
Richard Hadlee is 10, New Zealand 290 for 5. Nice shot. Oh, and a misfield by Neil Foster over there at wide mid-off. He had to make a lot of ground, had a dive for it. He seemed to get down on it, but 4 runs to Richard Hadlee with quite a sweetly timed shot. He's 17, New Zealand 300.
And
301 for 5.
Attempted outswinger to the left-hander, a half volley, Hadlee into it very, very quickly, and that's Foster giving his everything, but couldn't stop it. Oh, lift me from the ground. I die, I faint, I fail. That's Shelley.
Foster to Hadlee. In the air, marvellous catch. Richard Hadlee is out. Alan Lamb in the gully has taken a marvellous one-handed catch, diving to his right. New Zealand 302 for 6. Hadlee out for 18. Toward Lamb, bowled Foster.
Once more we see that shot. Not keeping the ball down, it came up a little bit. And there it is.
A 21-year-old from Essex on his way to Jeremy Coney. Oh, a slashing shot from Jeremy Coney. That's 4 runs away through the covers. New Zealand at 307 for 6. Coney 64.
So it's Snedden on strike and Cook the bowler. And an aggressive shot there from Snedden. Hits it away past the point area, backward point. Tavares the fielder, 2 runs. And even though Coney is on 67, there's still 3 close-in catches. And he drives Cook between himself and mid-off. Lovely shot, and it's 4 runs.
Yes, Jeremy Coney latching onto this one. He's a little over-pitched from Nick Cook. And Jeremy Coney, as I say, getting hold of it very well, hitting it straight back past Nick Cook. Bob Willis, mid-off, had no chance.
And that's a good delivery from Foster, and Snedden sparring at that one outside off stump. A brilliant stop by Gower at 3rd slip. It didn't quite carry for the catch.
Yes, this one just left Martin Snedden, as you saw there, and took the outside edge. It didn't carry, as Warren Stott said, but well stopped.
$334 for 6. And that's a good delivery, a loud appeal, and Snedden's on his way. This one just angling into him in the air, leaving him off the pitch. He was committed to play the shot, very close into the off stump. And so the 7th New Zealand wicket goes down. That of Snedden, caught behind by Bob Taylor off the bowling of Foster for 16.
And that indeed was a good ball, pitching roundabout off stump, leaving Martin Snedden. Let's have a look. Got him coming on the front foot, and just getting the outside edge, and Taylor, Bob Taylor, behind the stumps, completes the job. And here it is, same dismissal from another angle. It really was a good ball, just straightening, and have a look how Taylor is there, waiting for it.
Well, after Martin Snedden was out, play stopped 7 balls later because of bad light. They were off the field for 17 minutes, then came back on, but for just a further 13 balls, during which time Ian Smith managed to get himself off the mark, and then play was finally abandoned for the day because of bad light at 14 minutes to 6, with New Zealand at 335 for the loss of 7. Jeremy Coney there on 76 not out, and with him Ian Smith on 1.
Yep. And Coney pushing a ball, leaving him outside the off stump, down to third man. 1 run. Alan Lamb is the fielder. And Coney retains the strike. And we noticed Fred Goodall having another close look at Willis's footmarks. He'll be very conscious of keeping the bowlers off the wicket so that they do not damage it on this, the 5th day of the first Test match. Willis to Coney. And that's short pitch delivery outside the off stump. Coney steering it through the gully area. Chris Smith, the fielder, 1 run. And so it's Willis to Ian Smith. And that jumps on Smith a bit. He's in a little bit of trouble there, but he manages to keep that down. And that's the end of the over, 338 for 7.
Neil Foster from the northern end to Jeremy Coney. Off the back foot, good-looking shot. Bob Willis, a misfield here, and they'll get more than 1. As Willis turns and chases, and a comfortable 3 to Jeremy Coney, and a bad misfield from the English captain Bob Willis.
Foster to Smith. Good shot by Ian Smith. Derek Randall giving chase. They've taken 1 and coming back for 2. And they're going to go for 3 on Randall's throw, home safely. Short, and Ian Smith given a bit of width on this occasion. That's a good shot and 4 runs. Smith into double figures. He goes to 12, the first boundary of the morning. New Zealand for 355 for 7. Again short, again cut by Smith. And Chris Smith giving chase. Going to be a good contest. Ian Smith goes to 16, New Zealand for 359 for 7. Cook to Coney, more runs, just a single on the leg side. Foster comes in from backward square. Coney is 85, that's his highest Test score. New Zealand 361 for 7.
Cricket is being supported. It's Foster to Coney, and he pulls it. Short of length delivery, 4 runs.
Good forcing shot from Coney. It's through the covers. Going out to the boundary for 4 more to Jerry Coney. He goes on to 93. And the total now up to 370.
19 runs, showing a lot of fighting qualities in this innings. Ready to face Foster. He's played that nicely, very fine down the leg side. He's going to take 1, and he's going to take more than that. He's going to take 4 runs.
Very flighty, it ended up a full toss, and Coney whacks it very square to elude the fielder on the orthodox sweep position at deep backward square. And with that shot, Coney now going to 97. New Zealand has not lost a wicket so far this morning in the some 50 minutes that have been played. Yes, he hits this one over mid-wicket, and that's the century for Jerry Coney. A big shot over mid-wicket for Coney to go to 101. His first Test century. And first-class century since the 1976-77 season. 234 deliveries, very similar statistics there to Martin Crowe. 17 fours, as distinct from 19 fours from Crowe. And a delighted home crowd here for Coney.
What a cracking shot that was from Jeremy Coney to get his century. A great pull shot. Lot of power, and that's where it has gone. A real delighted Ian Smith going after his partner. And watch the power and the footwork and swing of the bat that comes onto the ball. Great day for New Zealand cricket.
That's a full toss. Coney pushing it into the outside, and it's running away between the bowler and mid-off, and it's 4 runs. And that's the New Zealand 400. So it's Cook to Coney, and that's a no ball. As Coney pushes into the offside, there is no fielder out there until Derek Randall comes around from cover.
But certainly his first no ball in Test cricket. I've never seen him bowl one in county cricket.
So Cook to Smith. And Smith's been bowled round his legs. Smith's out. Bowled Cook for 29, and the New Zealand total is 402 for 8.
Well, Ian Smith looking to sweep that delivery. Nick Cook changing to left arm over the wicket, bowling fairly wide of the crease. In fact, he was no balled in the previous delivery, I think, for going wide. And this one coming down the line, just outside the line of the leg stump, fullish. Ian Smith looking for the sweep shot, and the spin plus the angle, fullish on the line just outside of the leg stump, just pitching and then spinning into the leg stump. And that's the end of a very good innings from Ian Smith. And New Zealand lose their 8th wicket, 402 for 8.
So it's Cook round the wicket to Cairns, and he's pushed at this ball. An appeal for back pad. Alan Lamb at gully, but obviously no touch. Just came off his front pad. Moment of excitement there from the English close-in fielders, and they're all around Cairns. There could be a little danger there. And that's an appeal for LBW. Look to hit him a little just outside off stump, perhaps.
Well, let's have another look at this delivery. A lot of excitement at the moment with Lance Cairns coming to the wicket, landing on line. Oh, goodness gracious me. Lance Cairns a bit lucky to be there.
Cook, he's got his century off his bowling as he bowls to Cairns. It launches into this on the leg side, and that's gone over wideish mid-on, and it's boundary 6.
Well, what a contrast. There Lance Cairns stabbing around, poking, trying to keep Nick Cook out a few minutes to lunch, and all of a sudden he opened his shoulders. Let's have another look at it. Just giving him a wee bit of room, and he opened it up, picked it up beautifully, and over the deep mid-wicket boundary.
And this one's clipped away into the offside, wide of Derek Randall at cover, and he's given up the chase. That's 4 more.
Cairns launching into that one, 4 runs. Down through extra cover. He found the gap between cover and mid-off. Lance Cairns to 17, the first run since lunch. New Zealand to 423 and Cairns to 17. Cook to Cairns. Big swing, and 4 runs. He got away with it. There wasn't much of a gap there, but he dissected it to perfection. Down to the extra cover boundary. Lance Cairns is 24, and at the end of the over, it's 433 for 8. New Zealand now 189 runs ahead. Still 2 wickets left. Still Ewan Chatfield to come in and bat.
Yep.
Nice shot from Coney. He's got it through the field. Foster was a bit lazy on that one. Just put out a foot to try and clog it. Missed it. 4 runs to Coney, and that's his highest first-class score. He's 121, New Zealand 437 for 8.
That's a lovely shot. See how he goes on the back foot. Makes full use of his height, full face of the bat. And there, once again, let's enjoy that back foot drive.
Well played by Coney. Willis, even off his short run, was able to get a bit of a lift. End of the over, 437 for 8.
And it seems our leader is enjoying the day. Obviously, some tactical point being pointed out by Mr. Muldoon. And there's Mr. R.A. Vance on the far right of your screen. He's, of course, the chairman, New Zealand Cricket Council. A real lineup of heavies.
Cairns punishing that short pitch delivery from Willis. It's through cover off the back foot, and that's 4 runs. So Cook, last ball of the over to Jeremy Coney. And that's a full toss, and Coney hammers it in the leg side. It'll be a tight one here. Tavares can't return accurately. It's a quick single. New Zealand 445 for the loss of 8. So it's Cook to Cairns, and that's wide outside the leg. Oh, well trapped by Lance Cairns. We've got another footballer in this test match.
Well, he certainly killed that one, Warren. Let's have a look from another angle, see if we can see through Chris Smith. There.
That's George. Reminds me of George Best at his best. Cook again. And Coney lofts this one under the onside. It's way over mid-on. 4 runs. And that's the New Zealand 450. And New Zealand continues. That's shorter outside the off stump, flipped away into the offside. It's just in front of point. Derek Randall, another long, hard chase for him. They've turned for 2, and they decide to go for the 3rd as Derek Randall picks it up just short of the boundary, and it's 3 more to Coney. Mike Getting bowling to Jeremy Coney. That's full of length outside the off stump, and a beautiful cover drive from Jeremy Coney. No chance of stopping that. 4 more.
Great shot by Jeremy Coney, over pitching, giving Coney a little bit of room. Mike Gatting paid the penalty, and a good shot through extra cover. No chance. There he is, right behind the shot, hitting it away straight through to the fence.
And Cairns launching into an off drive, and that's 4 runs. When he hits them like that, they stay hit.
That's right, that's a suitable reply for bringing in close-in fieldsman for Lance Cairns. Over-pitched a shade by Nick Cook. And here's Lance Cairns launching into it, and David Gower not too impressed by that situation that he finds himself in. So 4 to Lance Cairns.
So it's Cook again to Cairns. And Cairns launching into this, and I think that may have been a caught and bowled. Or was he going for a run out?
Yes, I think he's trying for an action replay of yesterday, Nick Cook, but Jeremy Coney was conscious of that, and he was certainly back. Let's have another look at that one. Lance Cairns launching into it. He just got a little touch, but it missed the wickets, but Jeremy Coney was in.
And Cairns trying to sweep this round the leg side, but somehow it goes round the wickets and into the offside. Graham Fowler, hard chase, that's 4 byes. So it's Botham with the new ball, bowling to Jeremy Coney. On the line of the leg stump, Graham Fowler, good stop, mid-wicket.
Good flowing shot from Cairns, but it doesn't really come onto the bat quickly enough to go with any power. And so, unusual happening there for Lance Cairns. He lacked power in that aggressive shot.
Yes, indeed, and yet looked quite academic. Let's have a look at Botham, see if he's injured. Seems to be carrying his right leg a little bit. Big fellow, very strong. There is a slight suggestion that he's not fully fit, but he's carrying on.
So this is a new 9th wicket New Zealand record against England. Record for against any country is 96.
Oh, and he chops this one, almost chops it onto his stumps, an inside edge, known as a French cut in this country and a Chinese one in England. And so Cairns goes on to 38 with that very streaky shot. There's a loud appeal for LBW. And umpire Woodward having a long look at it. He may well have got an inside edge on that, otherwise it looked a good shot.
Yes, let's have a look. Ball pitching almost in line, right in front. And only an inside edge probably saved him.
Straight back down the ground, 4 runs. Cody ought to be fined for even running halfway down the pitch for that shot. It was 4 the moment it left his bat, and now only 1 away from 150.
It's just a touch of Martin Crowe there when it comes to on driving. Nicely placed. Let's have a look. See how the bat is kept straight. Just turning to find the gap.
It's in the air, but it's carrying through the covers for 2 or 3 runs. He'll be content to take 2 with Randall in pursuit. And so there's the 150 for Jeremy Coney. 151. And his statistics. 343 deliveries and 23 boundaries. And not a very large crowd here compared with the previous days, but nevertheless enough to realise that there is somebody watching you.
Yes.
Good shot, Coney. Flips it just in front of square. 2, possibly 3 runs. And Cairns is coming back for the 3rd, and that's well run. Good running between these two. Well, what do you say about that? That's 4 runs. And it was 4 from the moment it left the bat. In fact, I couldn't follow the ball. That's why I was so hesitant.
That's pure power. Lance Cairns going into it. Let's have a look. See how quickly he brings the bat onto the ball. That's where he got the power from.
Willis to Cairns, over the top of Gatting's hands, down to the 3rd man boundary, and Lance Cairns has 50, and New Zealand has 500. Lance Cairns is 51, and New Zealand 502 for 8.
Well, Lance Cairns having a crack at this one and getting the edge of the bat, and it flies over Gatting in second slip. And as Peter Williams says, brings up the 50 for Lance Cairns. There he is. He had a go at it. Wasn't quite there in terms of length, but he got a thick outside edge over the top of Mike Gatting and away to the fence to bring up Lance Cairns' 2nd Test 50 and New Zealand's 500.
Lance Cairns, a powerful shot. He's found that gap again. Away to the boundary for 4 runs. Lance Cairns to 56. His highest test score. And New Zealand move on to 511 for 8. Cairns on 56, facing Willis. Short cut, 4 runs. Lance Cairns to 60. New Zealand to 516 for 8. Short, hooked. Where's this going to bounce? On the grass, but over the boundary for 4. Lance Cairns is 64, New Zealand at 520 for 8 wickets.
And we see Lance Cairns latch onto it, hit it high, didn't make the boundary for 6, but 4 all the way.
Willis to Cairns. In the air, he could be out, he's caught by Graham Fowler, the substitute fieldsman at cover. At last the breakthrough has occurred for England. Bob Willis has got his 310th wicket in Test cricket. He now becomes 2nd on his own on the all-time list. Graham Fowler's got the catch, and Lance Cairns, what a great hand. 64, his highest Test score, 1-6 and 11 fours. That's 50 of those 64 runs in boundaries. Standing ovation for Lance Cairns.
If we have a look at that dismissal, the ball not quite there. It moved away a shade off the seam, but Lance Cairns didn't get hold of it. Got a thickish outside edge, and it ballooned out to the covers where Fowler took the catch.
So Willis to Chatfield. It's a friendly welcome, shall we say.
Yes, well, it looks like Bob Willis might return the compliment that he got from Richard Hadlee the other day. Thrown in short. Ewan Chatfield just getting out of the road. He doesn't see the shorter ball at all well, and of course he's, as everyone well knows, he was hit in the head a few years ago. Having another look at that one. Thrusting forward to start with at the last minute, seeing that discretion was the better part of valour.
And Nick Cook will continue to Jeremy Coney, who's 160 not out. Coney down the wicket, over the top. It's high in the air. And it's over the fence. 6 runs to Coney.
A great shot by Jeremy Coney. The arrival of Ewan Chatfield has marked a change in attitude by Jeremy Coney, and he leapt down the wicket and smacked Nick Cook right over long on into that crowd for 6.
And yet another record, the highest test score ever made at the Basin Reserve, beating South Africa's 524 for 8 declared in 1952-53.
Short, hooked. That's away to mid-wicket for 4.
Well, he got hold of this one, dropped in short by Bob Willis, and at his pace at the moment, running up a short run, looking pretty tired. Jeremy Coney latched onto it and hammered it away. Good looking shot.
Jeremy Coney has just brought up a century in 4s. That's his 25th boundary. And that will be number 26, I suspect, over the top of Smith at mid-on. The ball slowing up a little. But it's there. Jeremy Coney to 174. New Zealand to 537 for 9.
Ball.
And that is the end of the New Zealand innings. Ewan Chatfield bowled by Nick Cook. Jeremy Coney remains 174 not out. Chatfield out for no score. New Zealand all out for 537. And a little note of congratulations there from Neil Foster. And now from many hundreds of Basin Reserve fans. I wonder if Jeremy Coney's going to be counting the slaps on his back as he walks off. In the end, the New Zealand score of 537 compiled in 12 hours and 6 minutes saved the match, and England, who wanted 3 wickets quickly, took until tea to secure the end of the innings.